Mayo's ASMR cooking and eating video. Today we made Japanese fried chicken, Tori No Karaage, and I hope it's still crispy. This is the recipe that we used in the Japanese restaurant that I was head chef at for a while. Let's see how we made this. The first step in making our delicious Japanese awesome Japanese fried bird. Now we are going to move on to the eating section of the video. Itadakimasu. We don't have to break these apart because they're not single-use chopsticks. Itadakimasu. Itadakimasu. I haven't had this in forever, but it's totally worth it to make it because it's so good. Let's see if it's hopefully super, super crunchy. Let's try one without the mayonnaise first. Emily, delicious. Obviously, the longer you marinate this, the better. I would let this go at least overnight, but it gets better if it's like 2 days. You know, if it's marinated 2 days, that's when it's at its peak, and then it doesn't really get much better at that point. And at some point, your chicken will go bad, so we don't want that. So let it rest overnight, maybe 2 nights, but no more. Here we have what looks to be a super, super crunchy bit. I may have gotten a tad bit too much mayonnaise, but it is super good. But I shouldn't have too much. It's nice and tangy, and also has a bit of spice from the gochugaru.